Yes, it's morning still where you guys are at. I just ate lunch real quick. But anyway, glad to be with everybody today. What she was mentioning about for the ADA, we've kind of been looking into some things, trying to figure out about doing screen readers. We do not have it at this point. One of the states we're talking to said the way they're going about it at this point is, yes, the university requires it, but being that we are vendors, that we are not compliant with it at this point. I, on the other hand, will tell you this. I am a retired school teacher with a master's degree in special education. So I've always been thinking about how could we meet the needs of the students, even if we're not in the compliance of everything that you have, which we are looking into that. So hopefully there'll be some changes there. But the way I look at it and I specialized with students with visual disabilities, was a TVI, so that was my specialty. And I look at it kind of like this, that if we can print out a blank copy of the paper, of the record book, you can have it blown up that way. You can have somebody read for the student, read everything to them. You can describe the pictures. You can have a scribe do the writing. So I feel like we can meet the requirements because I know that's what you do in the school system a lot of times. I'm not saying that we are compliant on that in that area, but to me, I know as a teacher, if I had a student with severe disabilities at any level, those were accommodations and modifications that we gave to students in the school system by reading it aloud to them and by scribing for them and blowing it up. So I think we could have that piece in there. If you had a Braille reader, you know, you'd just have to have a transcriptionist probably go that direction. So that's just kind of just a little touch on that. So we talked to Erica yesterday, and I've already sent to my programmer that we want to get templates for your record books on there so they can print, so a parent could then print out a copy of a blank record book. Then you could use that for other areas if you need it, so that there would be a blank record book. One of the things about using the blank one is a parent, if they decide they don't want to do electronic record books for whatever reason, or a club or however, they could print out the template. It would match exactly what you see on the computer, and it would match what is being submitted for the kids who do it electronically, because, you know, it's kind of our theory on it here is, you know, you need to be judging the kids apple to apples, not apple to oranges. So it needs to have the same format. Erica will be able to upload the rubric. We talked about that, and I'll show you where you can do that on shared files. You're able to upload a document, so you will be able to upload your rubric so the kids can see what it is they're looking at. I know in our county what they did is they took away the neatness component and put in like organization to make sure that kids organized it neatly, even though it's all kind of laid out. But they did take out spelling, grammar, and, oh no, they left grammar because you're writing, so you can still do that. But they did take out spelling and they took out neatness. So that's something you guys determine how you want your rubric to look, because everybody's rubric, you know, has to match their record book. And so then Erica will be able to upload that. So those are the pieces there that Erica asked me to touch base with you guys on and to let you know. That's kind of the way Shannon's take on especially the ADA, and I feel like that's kind of my area of expertise for 30 years. So I am going to walk you through. We won't go into detail as much because I think most of you have seen this before. Hopefully you all got your logins. I did, Erica, have to send out a second email because for some reason the password did not come up, and so I did put that on there. I sent out a second batch of emails giving them the correct password. If somebody has difficulties, please have them go to chat, have them shoot me an email, let me know. I think we had 2, and I think we have fixed those issues, and I think they've been dealt with, and everything's good to go on that. But you will log in using your email, which you were given, and then the password that you were given. I'm just going to go into our test account real quick. So we go into Idaho@zinebooks.com, and log in. Okay, so this is a student's record book. Now, when a parent signs up, and I'm going to log back out because you guys need to be able to tell your parents how to do this. I'm going to log back out again. I jumped ahead, I guess. They are going to come to sign up. all right? They are going to sign up, and they're going to fill out this information. Okay, they will fill this information out. They'll choose their state, they'll choose their club, they'll have everything, and they'll click Let's Go. When they do that, they have created, using one email, using a household email. Some of the questions that we did get from some of our county admins is, unfortunately at this time, your county admin and your parent accounts have to be separate because of the access that you have as a county admin. So you would have to use a secondary email for that so that you could create a family account. So a club leader does not have to do that. A club leader uses the same account with their kids, but as a county admin, you do have to create a separate account. So that has been one question that was asked. So anyway, when they create their account, then it will take them to the page, and then from then on, they will log in just like this. Now, when they log in originally, they will not see all of these because I've already created my household. They will just see this one box, and it will say primary. They will, it'll open up. Here's where they put their PIN number in. And this is the page that, as a parent, this would not be here. None of these would be here at this point. But what they would do is they would come to household members, plus they're going to add a household member. They're going to fill out the information that they want to do, birthday, club member, or volunteer, which they should all be club members. They're going to have to add a club. They have to put in whatever club they're part of. All right, they would add their club, click add, and then they would save that, and that would give a whole new profile. There would be another block that comes up on that sign-in screen, okay, with whatever information. Now, you can't, as a primary person, you cannot create a record book. You can see all of your kids' record books, but you cannot create one on this page because this is just the primary, the owner of it. When you're on this page, you can see the announcements that your kids see. This is where, as a parent and you are a club leader too, or if you're just a club leader and you don't have any kids, you still have to create that original screen. You have to come here and request club access one time. It's a one-time deal. You go in, you put what the name of your club is, what you're requesting to be a volunteer or a club leader. When you do that, this, and I'm not doing it for a reason, this would say leader pending. And until you as a county admin, and I will do this in a second, but I want to show you the club aspect first. It would say leader pending, and you as a county admin will have to approve them. So if you have somebody who says they want to be a club leader that you've never heard of or anything, they will not have access to a club until you give them the okay. All right? Once they have become a club leader and it says leader, it doesn't say pending anymore, they click the example club, and now they have more things they can choose from. They will be able to see who has submitted record books for their club. They will be able to add announcements themselves for their club. They'll be able to look at reports for their club, and they will be able to add shared files for their club. So if you have something that you want to share that is just very club specific, a club leader can do that at this point, okay? And that would only go to their club. They can also, let's go back here, so you have your members are listed here. You can click on a member and you can view your members' record books. All right, so you now have access to your members' record books. You can't change them, but you can view them and see what they've done or what they haven't done yet. Okay, and it's taking that a minute, but it will load up. It's having to go through a bunch, unless they're programming right now. Okay, but that is where, and they may be pushing something out right this second. Once again, they have the chat button here at the bottom. This gives them chat. We will be adding some more chat hours. It just is not done at this point. Let me see. Let me do a refresh real quick. Okay, I will do a chat here just a second with them and see what's going on with that. But anyway, that's where they would view the record books, and we'll figure out what's going on. Like I said, they must be pushing a code out right now. So that's where they go their examples. They come back up here, their dashboard. That was the reason we had to have the PIN number, is because you do not want your kids to have access to get in and do things for your club. So your PIN number keeps it so your kids cannot get in. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to request club access, and I'm really going to do it this time so that you guys can see how that works. Okay. Yeah, let me do this. It's so funny with them not talking here. Okay, I can't hear anybody. Okay, now you see it says leader pending, and I did that because I want you to see here in a minute. So we're going to jump out and we're going to go to one of the kids' books. We're going to go to switch profile. I'm going to pick one of my kids up here. We're going to pick old Susie. I don't know if she's the one I've used for my record books, but we'll see. Now see, the announcements are here. Here's the to-do list, and here's anything that has been shared. So we have your county fair book has been shared. So let me open that. Hang on. I have my box with, you would hit the gray thing to open it. You see it comes down here at the bottom. And now here's your, and they have access. So there goes that excuse of, whoops, I lost it, or I didn't know that was a rule. So I don't know that this is the right one. This is just one that I found online and loaded it so we could show you how that worked. Sorry, I was having trouble there because my pictures all have the gray box covered and I couldn't see it. So it took me a second. So they want to create their record books now. They come here and they click the green button. They put in their name. They choose their club. And I'm on an example account, is why we don't have everything on the club list. They choose their primary category, their subcategory, their record book type, and their date of, they just pick their dates, they hit save, and now we have a new one in here, and it's the test. It's there. They can come here. You have to highlight it. You see it's in yellow. When it's in yellow, that's when your dashboard pieces change. And if I open these up, you see I have nothing. And then they're blank because we just created it and I've not added any data to it. All right, so I'm going to go back to that record book. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that one so I don't accidentally get back in there and wonder what in the world's happened. We're going to just I'm not going to touch on all of them unless Erica wants me to. They all follow the same basic format as far as you click on one, you click on one, these change to whatever type of record book you had. They start adding their information. This one they just actually type. Goals, and you see your information's up here. They just type in their different things that they want, and it carries on. Each field does the same thing. You just add your different pieces. You can, and I don't really have any cute pictures, but you can just pick pictures from, let's see if I have any up here. This is not my normal computer, y'all. So, but you can just pick a picture and you can upload it, and I need to have some pictures in there, and fill out your captions, and it will do that. Activity log. You fill your activity log out. Expenses. Income. How did you do? You see here it has a question mark. That gives them more of a detail. So here's your rating scale. So when you choose this, let me shrink this down right here. Get rid of that. So I want to edit this. I want to do test. I want to rate. I got a 3, an explanation, and I'm going to hit test, save, and you see that has it in there. Project photos. You would come right here, pick a photo real quick. Yeah, I thought maybe that was a different folder. Add your caption. And your photo would be there. Here's your story. So you click your type of story. Come here to your text box. And then your county materials. This is where, because a lot of your counties have different forms, so you may have a form that you want to have the kids fill out. This is, we were trying to figure out the easiest way to do this when we were working with Erica and Dr. Lindstrom, and what we determined the best option at this time would be, you can put the form in your shared files. They can download it, print it out, fill it out, just like they always would, take a picture of it, and then add it to this. We felt like that would be the easiest way, or if there's something they needed to submit, that would be a good way to submit it as well. Then they click Record Book, and okay, and Erica, do you want to talk to them for just a second while I go ask them what's going on with the record books real quick?
Sure, not a problem.
Okay. And I'm going to try one more thing before I do that. Yeah, if you'll do that, and I'll be right back.
So if there's folks in your respective counties that have not received an invitation from Shannon or from ZSuite at this point, please email me and let me know. At this point, I think all of the clubs are in the system. So when you guys log in, I want you to make sure the list of clubs that are populated in your list are correct. I pulled that information off of active clubs in 4-H Online. I should not see any FFA. We probably, as a system, need to have a little conversation on FFA and 4-H Online. We need to clean some of those records up. FFA clubs should not be in 4-H Online as traditional 4-H clubs. So that's another conversation. But I do need you all to look at the clubs that are listed for your respective county, log in. And again, if there's folks that have not received an admin invitation for your county, please let me know. One thing that I'm going to be working on tomorrow, I'm working on a little tip sheet, just something that you guys can hand out in your counties as you have folks come in. It'll kind of walk families through. I'm hoping to keep it to one side or one page front and back, but just things that they can look at so it will help you guys navigate your traffic in the office. It's something that they could use as a cheat sheet when they get home, a little tool to reference. One thing with ZSuite, they have a lot of support videos. We are going to make a video like that whole walking through your record book, what are best practices, things to look for, really helping the kids understand
All right, thank you.
that, what kind of information they need to include in their record book as a best practice. Deborah, that's a great question for Shannon on the calendar functionality.
Shannon's listening. Shannon is listening.
Okay. One question we got in the chat box, is there an ability at the county admin side to add to the calendar or to have a little bit more functionality?
Yep, we'll get to that when we get to the
Okay.
county admin portion.
Perfect.
So you can keep talking if you want to answer, and let me see if I've got it, because they just worked on it. Yep, there we go.
We're good.
Yes. Okay, so this is what the record book would then look like. And you see we have your 6 pillars of character. You know, you did not see that in the dashboard, but when it comes to the record book, then it will be there and it'll come out. Your presentations. Okay. And see, it looks a lot nicer and neater. And I'm going to jump back real quick. I'm going to switch out because I want to make sure, because I wasn't able to show it to you like I wanted to a while ago. Back into the parent account. To record books. And he just opened that on his computer. There we go. Okay, so see, now they can see their students' record books too. All right, I just wanted to show you that we did get that. That was, I don't know what it was, but he fixed it for me. And that's where that chat box comes in really handy, guys. Because it is computers, and they do sometimes do things that we don't know exactly where it came from. But we are here. That's the good thing. We are here, and it's very quick to get answers from us. And we're going to go, let's see. I'm going to jump down to Billy for a second. Yeah, Billy's more what I wanted to see. And I'm going to... I thought Billy was the one that had pictures. Must not have been. I was going to show you one that had some pictures in it if I could remember which one it was. But anyway, so this is exactly how, in all of the record books for the kids follow the same kind of format where they go in, they choose their record book like they did, click, and then this information is what they fill out. Just it's got the same format. So it might have different pieces that they're filling out, but it's going to follow the same format. We do have a treasurer's book and a secretary's book, which is, I think, is exciting. It looks really good. Let's see if I have one filled out. I do. I think I have it filled out. But they come in and they add, here's an officer, and you see it has the question marks. That kind of gives you more information about the officers. They come in, they click. They do officer position, name, email. You come into leaders. They put their leader information in. Committee members. Once again, we have a little question mark there that lets them know what a committee member is. They're able to incorporate that. The chairperson, other committee members, they add that. Club goals, just a check mark. Date accomplished. They put those pieces in there. This is just suggested 4-H annual plan, so it's kind of like an outline so they can see it and kind of gives them just some ideas. Then they create their own annual plan. This part is my favorite. I get really excited about this. For the club meetings, you are having meeting attendance. Everybody in your 4-H club that has done their accounts, it will now have their names show up, and the secretary just goes in and marks them present, not present. You just go in, and that's how you do attendance. You do meeting minutes, and I think this is important. It's teaching the kids a lot about keeping records. These are life skills that I know my husband does business meetings, and he uses the same format that he learned in 4-H and FFA and parliamentary procedures. And so that's kind of what we're teaching at this point. Put number of visitors, action, treasurer's report, your correspondence. Once again, you can take pictures of things for later on in here if we need to. So you have all these different new business, announcements, programs, recreation, secretary's signature, president's signature. We go back, meeting report, then it prints out a nice little report. It prints us out a nice, as I'm saying, it prints us a nice little report. Let me just look at something real quick. Okay. And I will get Jake on that. So our club summary. So this would be the summary that they would put, their expense description, their income is just a basic, very simple. We have our record book, and this is what the record book would look like. Let me jot that, summary. All right, and this is what that would look like. And they can download that and print it, or they can submit it. You'll be able to set it up where they could submit it straight to you. We're going to go out and we're going to go to, and I'm touching on these, Erica, because they were some that we did not have originally, so they probably have, unless they were in the one meeting, they probably did not get to see it. So we have our treasurer's book, report information, financial ledger where they can keep track of everything, their check numbers, their date, transactions, the different pieces, audit committee, sorry about this picture, sense of humor from our programmers. They can put in their information, recommendations, a financial audit form so you can check your stuff. Yes, this happened. No. And then it prints out a nice little record book. Your audit committee certification. That would be a picture where your bank statements would go. We have some young people on programming, so. Okay, so that kind of takes you through what the books and those different pieces are. So now I'm going to log us out again, and we're going to go to county admins. All right, so here is your county admin page. For example, let me close this out. Here's where I told you a while ago we had requested a club leader. So there's the green X or green check or the red X. If this, you say, yes, this is somebody that's supposed to be a club leader. I want them to have access to all of our club information. You hit the green check mark. And now where it said leader pending on the other page, on the parent club leader part, it will now say leader like it said originally. This is where you can share files as a county. Remember I showed you a leader could share files? Now you as the county admin, you can share files. You go in here, hit shared files, you upload it, or you put the title, you upload, you hit save, and it'll be in there just like the ones that you saw previously. You can add announcements, and you see you have that ability. That shows you your club members. You will be having graphs as things are going, you know, as things grow, this will look a little bit different. Project information. You will be able to go into each of your 4-H clubs. You'll be able to, it kind of tiers down, so then you can get into example club. Now you can see what volunteers are in there. You get 1 leader, 3 members, any events that they have going on or any events you want to send just to that club, you can do that. And let's just say you want to see if Erica's been doing her record book, you can actually go in as the county admin and you can go all the way down and see Erica's record book. Okay. All right, and Does that answer, and I know it's not question answer time, but Erica, just tell me, did I hit the parts that they were wanting to know about?
The club calendar or the calendar function at the county admin level.
Okay, we do not have necessarily the calendar like we had in ZingBooks. It looks different now. We just have the events. We will be adding a calendar back in, but they're trying to redo and finish some things on that, but you will be able to add things on it. But for right now, we just have it basically where you can just add, let's just add an event and see something. Or actually, that may be what they're working on. That's the piece they are working on right now, and I mean, I knew that that was one that they were doing because I just had a big meeting with Illinois, and I had to call Jake in, and he said they've taken that out for this moment, and they're rebuilding a piece on it, and it'll be added back in, and you'll see it. It'll just show back up in your dashboard. But you will be able to add events, and what happened, or what's going to happen, is when you add an event, the calendar, and some of you may have already seen it where the calendar was there and then now it's gone, it will add the event to the calendar. Okay. Clubs, and then the Clover Academy is not ready. Household, you'll be able to go down and see what your household, their ID number.
Oh, Shannon, just so the piece with that county admin calendar, that would populate events across to all of the clubs within the county, correct?
If that's how if you wanted to do that, yes, you can do it for all.
Yes, that would be great.
Yes, you can do it for all of your clubs, or like this one, you just, like this here. Okay, so if you did this announcement right here, this is going to go out to everybody. So your calendar event would be the same way. But if you go into clubs, let me go back down.
Then it would be specific for that club.
Yeah, and you go here, now you add an event, it's just going to go to that club that you're in, and it will do the same thing with the calendar.
And what would be awesome on that calendar function, if we can add another level for that calendar at the state level, then that way I can populate for some of our statewide events and different opportunities to market programs within reason.
You probably don't want everybody to see what you can do, but I'm going to let them see it anyway.
All good.
I figured you'd be fine with that. So you, as the state admin, will have ways to go straight into counties, and then you can actually get down into clubs, and then you will be able to check members and add events, and it continues to tier down the entire way. So you will have that same ability as well, which I think is really cool too. Okay, so household, I showed you, this is reports. We are going to have this where you can do customizable reports. Right now we just have some basic things in here that will be part of what you have available, but we will have, like of course payments doesn't apply at this point yet. And then record book submission. So once again, you will see, and then settings, let's see what settings at county. You really don't have many at this time. This is more when we get into our enrollment stuff, which we're not at that point yet. So that's not usable for you guys at this time. So Erica, can you think of anything, who have seen this a million times, you could probably do this presentation better than me, as many times as you have seen it. But can you think of anything that we need to hit on right now, or just open it up for answers and questions?
Not a chance. So to answer Michelle's question, and great minds think alike, so there's a couple different options on the record book. The families can download the record books, print them off for evaluation at fair. I do know some counties are going to have members submit the record books electronically, and the county is going to print those off for all the kids. So to help with just cost of printing and that checks and balance to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So that is an option. The piece with the electronic submission, it gives you a chance to look at those. I mean, you can monitor and look at these record books without having the electronic submission component, but that is an option. I think the vast majority of y'all are going to have those record books printed off probably by the kids, turn them in. So what you're going to get as a finished product should look very similar to what we've had in the past. It will be organized. It just gives some options. I think the counties that were going to collect them and print them off, they were going to do the sheet protector thing. So as a group, they had decided to move that way. But we can move right into Q&A if you want to, Shannon. But that, I hope, answers your question, Michelle.
Did we answer all the questions in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, you did. Okay, I just saw there were 4. I just want to make sure I don't want to leave anybody out. So anyway, once again, as I'm not a computer whiz, I know the program, but I have my notebook that I can always write questions and get you the answers the best I can.
Shannon has a question. Can they cut and paste their stories from a Word document? Yes, they should be able to do that with Control-C, Control-V, correct? Or will it work on a mouse click too?
I think it works on a mouse click as well. Okay. I use Control-C, Control-V. That's just kind of my automatic go-to, but yes.
If you've got somebody that's using a Mac, it'll be Apple, the Apple function, Apple C, Apple V, I think is the same for on a Mac. And
I will tell you this too, which we did not address. It does work on your cell phone. Before, you guys had a app that you could purchase, or not purchase, you just went to one of the app stores. It's different this year. It is different. What you do is you go to your, like I have an iPhone, so I went to Safari. So you go to Google Chrome, whatever your thing is, and you click on it. Actually, let me just do it so you guys can actually see it. You type in the URL that we did at the beginning, the 4h.zsuite.org. You put that in just like you did before, and it's going to actually come up on your screen. If you're an iPhone user, there's a middle little button here. It looks like you're sending a file. You click that, and there's a bunch of options that come across the bottom. If you're an Android, I think it comes down this side. But you're going to slide over. Whoops. No, I don't want to print it. You're going to slide over until you see, let me turn it this way for a second. Add to home screen, which is right here. You click that add to home screen, and it's the same on the Android or the iPhone, add to home screen. When you do that, it will actually then add it as an app.
Can you stop sharing and just do a show or zoom in so we can see that? Because right now your screen's still being shared and I can't, you're zoomed out a little bit.
Yeah, you might have to help me here figure that part out. I will stop my share. Okay, do I just go back to my phone?
There, try that.
Okay.
Can everybody, if you on speaker view?
Can y'all see that? Okay, so you type in the 4h.zsuite.org just like you did before, and you get that open. All right, when it comes up, as an iPhone user, it's the middle button here. It kind of looks like a file, like you're sending a file, and it brings up some options here on the bottom. Android has it, and it brings it to the side, but iPhone is like right here. And you scroll over, excuse me, I have to look at it. You scroll over, and I'll turn it back around as soon as I find it. And it says add to home screen. I might have deleted it just a second ago when I did that. But across the middle, oh, there it is. It says add to home screen. Android, it comes down the side. If you do that on an Android, you have a side thing that shows. And you just click that, add to home screen. When you do, it adds it just like an app. I actually have 3 on there, so FFA, 4-H, and our Florida State Fair. And then you will just be able to click it, and it will open it up. Okay, this is going to eliminate some of the issues that if you were one of our pilots last year that we had, And what would happen, and the reason we're going this way, there are some pluses and there's also a huge minus, and I want to be fair and tell you this, but the pluses are when we would make changes, like if there was something wrong and we would make a change, it would automatically go live and it would change it if you worked on the computer. If you worked on an Android phone, in about 2 days you would see the change. If you worked on an iPhone, about 10 days sometimes, because they would push it, they would look at it in about 3 or 4 days and they'd say, oh no, we don't like this, you have to do this. And it would take about 10 days. So we had like 3 different versions going on, and it made it really difficult. And, you know, some of you will know that we had to tell our Mac people, just go to Safari and different things, or go to Chrome. And so by doing it this way should eliminate that. So that was our purpose. Now, the bad thing about this is, and I really hate it, and I just tried it myself, I could not get it to open up if I did not have service. So, you know, one of the things before, you could open the app up and use it when it was working wherever you were, and it would add it up later. But you do have to have some kind of service, just like you would regular phone service, you know, got to have more than a bar. You know, you had to have a bar to use it. That is the downside of it, but it's still much better than not having it at all. So, but we do have it that way. There's, you know, and it's called web-based that way, and it works a lot better, and it's live, and anytime we make a change, when we push a change here, it automatically changes it to the app as well. So that helps a lot.
So we have somebody who's trying that right now on their Android, and all they are getting is a chat box option. Has anybody else tried it on an Android app?
I can always get Jake in here if I need to. He's an Android user. I'm an iPhone user. He's Android.
I'm on iPhone. I'm on iPhone too. It worked cake. But
do we have anybody else who's Android who's having an issue? Michelle?
I just tried on my Android. This is Lisa. And there's like 3 dots at the top of the screen that you have to touch. And then it'll pull down, like it'll say home. I can't remember what else it says, but in there it says share to your screen.
Thank you, Lisa.
The answer was that clear as mud.
Okay, I have it downloaded, but all of it won't click into, it's just circling, like it open. I already have it downloaded.
You had it downloaded?
I had it downloaded, and now all it's doing is circling.
Okay, did you have the ZSuite downloaded or the Zing books? Oh, my old eyes won't work.
I clicked on the app and it opened it right up. I can put in my email and my password. So
do you have the service, Michelle?
Yeah, I have service. It just, I mean, I got in and then I did that, but now it just goes blank. Anything. I can't get to the page.
Oh, you can't get to either.
I can check it in a minute.
Sorry.
I'll see if it works in a second with mine.
Okay, is anybody else having that same issue?
No, this is Michelle Tate, and I'm in. I downloaded it. I didn't have any issues, and I was able to log in. Android.
Okay.
Michelle, I would try restarting your internet browser to see if you can get the site to pull up again. While she's working on that, Shannon, so as far as I know right now, families and parents, they could go to the site, they can register their household. That part's ready to go for parents and families. So they can go ahead and get started. Everything is up and running. One other question we have on the breeding books, is that information going to be able to carry forward from year to year on breeding and or pet animals, or do they just create a new record book each year?
I don't have a definite answer for you on that. Our goal is to eventually have it in this year, before they start their next book. Our goal is to have like a mark that it would need to carry over. our kids from last year, because that have done this before, they just had to do a new record book, and we archive those books, so they always have access to go back and look at the previous year and pull that information. They can copy paste and put that information in. That's right now how we have done that with our other counties that have done from year to year.
And that would be a development piece that would apply for the involvement report. So to answer that question, Shannon, the kids can populate their information from their involvement report into this version so that record exists here electronically. One of the things that we're going to try to do also with the development team is get that involvement report embedded into the record books. So then that way when kids are working in their involvement report components, those cross-populate, but that's a piece that has yet to flesh out, if that makes sense. So those elements will be coming. So at this point though, with regard to the involvement report, kids are going to have to enter in that information. If they have it in electronic format, obviously they can copy and paste it. They will have to, get those pages to populate, either that or upload it as a county document, upload the pictures, so then that way, they could upload the information from their previous year. I don't know. What's your suggestions on that, Shannon? To have them build it from scratch, or just add in this year's elements and add in last year's book?
I'm trying. Do you have some kids who did the involvement report last year?
Pretty much all of them.
Okay.
I don't know on the pilot side, but basically how that involvement report works is it kind of builds a 4-H resume. So you have kids that are older, then that's going to be a pretty robust document.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to share screen again, and we're going to go back in there, and we're going to look at something, because my brain's spinning. Let me shrink you guys down. Not that I don't want to see y'all, but so let me. I'm just troubleshooting while we're here. Could they? Okay, could they possibly do this? Let me go to my involvement report. Because we have it showing you would have the show archived up here. Let me go to an involvement report. So if we went, could it not just be a running report where, they did last year, so now, they filled it out last year, now we're just adding something new in, and so we just go back and add our new things in so that it would keep building it? Could you do that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, and that's kind of, I guess, how do I add in the information from like the last 4 years? So how do we get that core document to populate and then just add into it? I'm almost wondering if we should just have them add that, enter in this year's, just enter in the content for this year and then add what they've done in the past as a supplement.
They could do that, and then from that point on, okay, so like here, I didn't have a date. Let me just pick a date let me go back to 2018. We'll just pick a date here. Okay, so we've got this one. They click save. So then next year they come in here and they put, whatever.
Yep.
And, and somebody who might be really ambitious, number of meetings. I wasn't reading. And I didn't read there either. Okay, so now we have this.
Mhm.
Somebody who's ambitious might choose to go ahead and go back, take their paper books that they've done before. They could go back and repopulate that,
Yeah.
but then just continue to move forward in everything, and they can always go back and just pick their date. If they click on this month, it goes to year. They can click year, and they can continue to go back as far as they would need to.
Yeah.
And then it can continue as long as, they could just continue going into that one record book, because it says show archived, and you would just open those up. Would that work? I mean, does that seem, to me, that seems like that would work.
Yeah. I think so. Let me change the view. Does that work for everybody? These thoughts?
Well, my question is it its own separate so that kids don't lose which record book it's in?
Right now, the involvement report is separate.
Okay. But
So, and then what we're hoping to do is to embed involvement report components so that way it's not a standalone document. It's integrated with the rest of the record books, but that's down the line. So at this point, involvement report is still separate.
Okay, that's just what I was wondering, just so, because if they happen to not know which record book, if it was already embedded in with the record book, then they would lose where it was at.
Right. The only other question I had, Shannon, is on the animal identification piece. So this would touch on like for pet projects, breeding projects, and horses. Were we able to get the picture component added? Because I think that will help with the animal identification documents, where we might be able to.
Where was that at? Do you remember?
They'll be in the animal book. I'm not. Yeah, look at the kid book.
Well, did we want to put it on the member info?
There should be an animal identification component.
Let me go back out. Let's just create a record book. We'll call it meeting. And we're going to do club example. We'll just do a junior, or no, let's do an intermediate, kind of middle of the road. All right, animal.
So
market.
Shannon, do breeding and pet.
Okay,
Shannon, oh, sorry. Shannon Williams, to answer your question on the growth charts, those would be something you would want to post as an announcement or file upload at the county level. Growth charts are not embedded into this. So that would be an example of something that would need to be supplemented at the county level. Great question.
Okay, I will have them put a place here to put picture on this animal info.
Okay, and the benefit for this, y'all, this would pretty much replace the animal identification records for your breeding projects, your pet projects, and you would also be able to use this for your horse identification, because with having a left and right, that would account for any brands or tattoos and your white markings. One thing to note, oh, sorry. We have
so you would not need these pieces?
Yeah, so all of that aligns pretty much with some of the required information we've got on all those different paper-based forms of animal ID. One thing that you can do, you can use as a cross-check, is to have the kids identify their animals in 4-H Online. That part of the system is all ready to rock and roll. So if there was more particular information needed above and beyond what's in this record here, I know some counties still use the animal ID piece in 4-H Online, but this, with adding the side views, then you should not have to have those supplement components. And then these records would we have an archive option on this too? Those would persist. So they could carry that forward for the new year, right? Like for
right. I mean, Yeah, everything's archived. We keep everything, so it's archived, so we can bring back or whatever you need to do. We can make that happen.
Okay, yeah, we would need that component on the pet, breeding, and horse projects, but the pet horse kind of uses that version of the record book. Their market animals are the ones that are pretty much a one-year project, one and done.
Okay. Okay, and we'll talk more about that too as we go, Erica, to kind of help me pinpoint that exactly like we need it to go.
Yep, no problem.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I just want to understand the archiving process better. So if we have the permanent identification component embedded into the record book, when we archive that, how are we going to separate that out for the next year? I guess I don't understand how it works exactly.
Well, and that's because we don't have that on there. That is something that and I know you guys are thinking, oh, they keep saying they're going to build this into it. We're trying to get this up and running for this, to get you guys going, and then we're going to go back in and these pieces that you're going to need for like next year and stuff, we're going to get those added into it at that time. What we have discussed just among ourselves as we've talked is having, like, you know, if this is something that we're going to need to carry over, is possibly having a box that they mark that they need this to be carried over. You know, we'll be able to build it into the system that the breed will carry over from year to year of the same project. It is not there. I can't show it to you, and, you know, I want to be honest with you about that, but you know, that's where we're going with it. We were just trying to make sure we had this up and going so your kids could go ahead and start using it for this year, and then by the time they're ready for next year, and, you know, not even next year, we are going to be doing monthly as we make changes on things. We're going to have a certain day every month that we click, push out, and it will make all those kind of changes. Now, that doesn't mean if you call me and say, hey, this isn't working right, you have to wait a month to get it fixed. No, we will still make those changes immediately. But when we add something to the system, such as the archiving tool, then what will happen is it'll automatically be put in there, and we'll have that in place then before you guys are in need of that.
And Candy, the archive option, like on the animal records, that might be tied in, you know, we might add in an animal ID component or flag it by project, or I think there's a couple options on that front on that, but we'll keep you posted on how that moves forward. But at this point, the members would just simply add in of their, you know, whether it's a breeding animal, whatnot, add in their animal information, add in their identifying characteristics. But if there's something that you need to have, and I guess this would be where you'd want to use 4-H Online, where if they have to do a pre-ID, like, you know, declare what they're bringing for initial weigh-in, or if there's, you know, some other components or requirements that maybe you have at the county level, that's where 4-H Online would maybe be a benefit. Since those records do persist, it gives you that checks and balance, since we're kind of working through the other side of that in here, being a new system, that's an option. So I hope that helped answer your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
And having you guys tell us these things is very important to us, and we strive really hard to listen to you guys and make it, we want it to work for you all, and I didn't go into my spill with you all just because I think most of you have seen this. We're 4-H people. I'm a 4-H grandma. You know, the pictures you see in here are my grandkids. You know, we're real live doing this with you. We're not just some company that thinks this is just a scheme or something. We know what 4-H is about. We know what FFA is about. We believe in it. So we want to hear from you guys. So Candy, and your questions and things, they make us think and make us know, okay, we need to go back and look at this, and we need to make adjustments. So please always feel free to talk to us about it. It helps us build the product you need, and it helps us make a better product. So we really do like having your input.
Yes, there's no such thing as a bad question. So as
not for
y'all are
me.
working through things, if there's things that you find, for immediate heads up, like if it's something wrong, that's what the chat box is there for. But if there's things that would be a benefit, as far as making it flow, or whatever, send that information to myself. I'll get that to Shannon. That's, we're going to be very hands-on in this development, and we have been, and they've been very responsive to it, of course. But that's how we keep making the best better on that.
And if you guys all think, oh, we need to meet again, Zoom. I love to do Zooms. It's my favorite thing. So just let Erica know. And I'm looking at Michelle down here. Michelle, I think you can speak for the chat. I think you've had good success with our chat, and they're pretty quick on getting to you and getting it taken care of, right?
Absolutely. They have been tremendous on anything I've asked and had questions on. They were right on it and got it fixed. And so I've been very satisfied. And even my kids last year when we were doing the pilot, they, were very responsive to them as well. Even after hours and when we were trying to get books submitted and printed and had little issues, Jake was awesome and was very responsive.
And I can say that because it's Jake, it's not me. So I can say he's very, very, and those of you who have gotten me on chats, I go ahead and apologize. I do the best I can with them. I'm limited on my ability when it comes into the back end side of things.
So I have just a couple of questions, if it's okay, while we're here.
Oh, yeah.
I went ahead and went into my county, and I also went ahead and set up a family one and started a record book for my daughter just to kind of go through and see. A couple of questions I had on the clubs. I noticed that if I added any, or I actually made some adjustments to the ones that the state populated in there, they don't populate after you make those adjustments by alphabetical order. Is there any way to make those so that so that the leader doesn't have to search through those instead of just going to their ABC?
Check. Well, if they're not populating A to Z order, they should. So check the lead in and the end for any extra spaces. So how I populated that at the state level is I did do a copy and paste, which was great, but I did notice on a couple of the titles, if there was an extra carryover space for whatever reason, that does affect the functionality for A to Z. But you're asking for like a quick find, right, Candy? Or
well, not necessarily. I just, like, for instance, my daughter's dog club is the one that I added for her to see. It's all paws in, and it was about 5 or 6 down into the F's and G's. So
yeah,
I just wondered how.
Check for the spaces.
And I also will check with Jake to make sure on that. I can't, that's one of those things I can't really give you an answer on, but I can find it, I can get it on to Jake.
Okay. And then just two other things that I noticed, actually. When I put her record book in, and then I went down the side, to kind of just play around with that, but didn't put any information in other than her dog's name and her name and her years in 4-H. But when I pulled up the actual record book at the end, then her name isn't on there. Am I missing somewhere that's not populating from?
Let's just kind of go in and look at it and see. And I'm going to go, if you were doing a dog book, let's see, where did I do? Didn't I do a pets, breeding animal, general? Let's just go. I thought I had one that started there. Okay. So, did you put her name? All right, let's go here, because when you created her record book, let's just start a record book here. That's the project name. When you created her account, did you put her name on there?
Yeah, so
did you?
Like, she has a profile, is that what you mean? So I put her name, she has a profile, I put a little picture of her and her dog thing as her avatar. So she's all set up in there. And that's what
I'm looking this one to see if it hasn't.
it's not pulling. It pulls the year, the project, but it doesn't pull the name.
Did not pull the name. Okay. I'm making a note of that for Jake. And these are, unfortunately, these are still little things that we're finding on occasion. So, yeah, I see right there I have a blank name too. So I'm going to look at something real quick because I had a blank age that was popping up. Let me go back here to switch profile. We're working on Susie's.
Quick question, Shannon. Does the activity report sort by date as they're entering in that information?
I'm not sure. I'll have to go in and look at that in just a minute. Let me finish doing this one. Let me look under household members.
To answer your question, Michelle, Clover Academy is learning management system that's in development. So part of ZSuite, for this year, we're strictly using record books, but there are different elements being developed for ZSuite for whole leader training, enrollment capacity, finances, etc. So those are pieces yet to come.
They're like a commercial almost. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I have that in my notes, and I will get that to Jake. Because
Perfect.
it has the name here, it's not doing it on the record book. So.
And then, sorry, one last question.
Please don't apologize.
I know
Yes.
on our end, it's going to be, if the year on that book says 2019, that's going to be a little confusing because our 2019 was, they kind of go by the fair year. So our 2019 was our fair 2019. So now we're looking at 2020. What?
Okay.
Or if you put the year to 4-H year of 2019 to 20.
Yeah, I don't know if do a 2-year thing, or I don't know if that's going to be confusing to anyone else, but.
Well, and I agree. And what do you think about doing like, I know the 2000, like doing 2019-20 or
I think
2000. You think that would work? Okay, and I'm looking back at that as well to see. I'm trying to see if that's something that we have populated or if that's something that comes straight. That's why I keep jumping back and forth between the two, so I can see which, if we did it or if the student entered that year. But I'm thinking it's something we did.
The 2019-20 would be helpful because that helps align with the 4-H year.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'll have that. Okay, that's just the birth date. Yeah, I need to change that birthday because what happened, I didn't, when I fill these in, sometimes I didn't do the right thing and it would not carry over either. Okay, so I have that too, Candy. So we've got that. So I will get that to Jake as well. Any other questions?
The other question we had was the activity report, if that sorts by date. So there are activities within the project.
Okay, let's go to and the activity report is in which one?
On all of them.
On all of them? Okay, so we
yeah.
can just pick one. So let's just give it a shot. Let's just create something real quick. Okay, now we're going to come in here. Let's go. Yeah, it backed it up. Oh, well, let's do something else. Let's just throw okay, yeah, see, I threw that one in the middle, so I did put it in order.
Great.
Okay?
Yep.
So you see, I have to do just like you guys. A lot of times it's just getting in there and trying it out and playing around and seeing if that'll work. And if it doesn't, you please let us know.
Yeah, and I would say if you guys want to test around, we still have access to the example county. I would recommend probably doing it in there versus impacting your county data set.
Yeah. You still have that same access. Get in, and I mean, I don't mind you manipulating with the information I have on there. Just know if we come into another meeting and something's changed and I kind of like, oh no, just understand what happened, but I don't mind you moving that stuff around. It's for your state. So I want you guys to be comfortable.
Do we have any other questions for Shannon? All right, well, I'll share out this recording to everybody, but if you come across questions once we get past this meeting, by all means, please let us know. Let me copy in the information real quick to get into the example county. So on the 4-H website, under documents and records, you'll notice a little plus sign, and underneath there I have a repository of materials for ZSuite. So in the chat box here, the email for the county admin test account is id@countyadmin.com, and then the password is test. If you're wanting to play around with the individual member or volunteer test accounts, that email address is id@zingbooks.com, and then the password is test, and the PIN number for the family is 1234. But there's all of that information, like I said, is posted on that little help sheet on the website that I've started. Also, ZSuite has some great training videos posted. If you go to, actually, from the home screen, Shannon, is there a quick link to those training videos, or?
Yes.
I think you just do it, you can get to the videos by help. Yeah, right on
Do
the.
you see right here? And can you see my screen still? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will be adding more of those on there. We will continue to add more videos.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining in today.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, and thank you, Shannon, again for working with us. Really
Oh,
appreciate it.
anytime. It's fun. All right. Thank you guys so very much, and please just let us know anything that you all need. All right?
All right. Thank you, Shannon. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.